Sign in. Sign
All right,
in.
we are on record in People of the State of
Sign
Michigan
in.
versus Ms. Damon.
Okay.
We are in court and on the record. I need you to stop whatever you're doing.
Okay.
We are on the record in the People of the State of Michigan versus Tammy D. Damon. It is file 21-20243-FH. Today's date set for sentencing in this case, and we are proceeding today partially in person and partially by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Wise.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise on behalf of the people.
David I. Goldstein appearing on behalf of the defendant in place of Jeffrey Bennett.
All right, and Miss, you are Tammy D. Damon.
Yes.
Ms. Damon, have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
Yes, I did.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss that report with Mr. Goldstein?
Well, with Mr. Bennett, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, with Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your attorney and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report?
No.
Mr. Goldstein, does pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
No, Your Honor.
The probation officer has calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines in this case to be from 0 to 9 months. Do you agree with that computation guidelines?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before the court passes sentence, Mr. Goldstein, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Ms. Damon?
Your Honor, just very briefly, my understanding is that since Ms. Damon was on probation in another matter for during almost the entire time that this case was pending, and she did very well on that probation, that the resolution of this matter would be for her just simply to pay fines and costs, which she is prepared to do.
All right, Ms. Damon, is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence?
Yes. I'd just like to say that I apologize to the community and everybody for this incident, and it was bad choices on everybody's on myself. It was a bad choice, and I just apologize, and this would never happen again.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wise, do the people wish to be heard?
Your Honor, I agree with what Mr. Goldstein said. Ms. Damon was on probation almost the entire time, and that's why I agreed to a no objection to a fines and cost sentence, Your Honor.
All right, in determining the appropriate sentence in this case, courts consider the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, important recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you or by others, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. I do recognize that there is an agreement in this case and that the recommendation is consistent with that agreement. And so I do intend to follow it. It will be the sentence of the court that you apply with DNA testing and pay a $60 fee. You must pay $68 state costs, $130 crime victims' rights fee, and $750 court cost. You have the ability, those are due today, I believe, Ms. Damon, and there is interest that starts accruing if you don't pay within 30 days.
No, it'll be paid today. Do I just go to the traffic division?
You'd have to come up to the third floor, the circuit court clerk's office, and make the payment there.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm not sure how fast they can get that set up there. So maybe as soon as you're able to get the judgment sent over there would probably be the best.
That's true. If you it might be best actually for you to wait until tomorrow, Ms. Damon, because there's paperwork that has to be prepared, and that information on that paperwork has to be entered into the clerk's computer system. So if you came today, it's likely that they wouldn't even know how much you need to pay at that point. So
Okay, that sounds good.
Probably better off waiting until tomorrow.
Okay.
You do have the ability to request an appeal of your sentence. We're going to send to you 3 copies of a notice of right to appellate review and request for appointment of attorney form. You need to sign one and return it to us, which indicates that you received your copies of those forms. If you wanted to appeal your sentence, you would need to fill out the other 2 copies of the forms, mail those to the address listed in the forms within 42 days.
Okay.
So you're all set then, Ms. Damon. You can go ahead and log out.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Goldstein, Tyreek Damon is in the meeting now. Do you need a breakout session with him?
No, Your Honor, we're prepared to proceed.
We are on the record now in People of the State of Michigan versus Tyreek Amir Damon, file 20-20013, FH 20-2. I'm sorry, and 20-20135-FC. Today's date set for sentencing in this case, and we are proceeding today partially by video conference and partially in person. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Wise.
Morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise on behalf of the people.
David I. Goldstein appearing on behalf of the defendant.
Sir, you are Tyreek Amir Damon.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Damon, have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
No, sir.
Yeah, we went over about a month or so ago, Terry.
Oh, all right. Yeah. All right. My bad.
It's not, he doesn't mean today. It was some time ago, but we did go over it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity then to discuss the report with Mr. Goldstein?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Goldstein and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report?
No, sir.
Does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
No, sir.
No, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Damon, that was directed toward Mr. Goldstein. I didn't make that clear.
Stop.
No, Your Honor, there are none.
Mr. Goldstein, the probation officers calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines in this case to be from 36 to 71 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before the court passes sentence, Mr. Goldstein would like to say on behalf of Mr. Damon.
Your Honor, this is an unusual, and I shouldn't say unusual, this is a difficult situation. Mr. Damon was involved in a very serious matter. And he recognizes and accepts responsibility for that. He demonstrated his acceptance of responsibility by not only pleading in this matter, but also cooperating with authorities, which resulted in the conviction of several other individuals, some of whose identity would not have been known had it not been for Mr. Damon's cooperation. He did serve approximately a year in jail while this matter was pending. It explains, I think, and Ms. Wise can chime in if she feels it's appropriate, but I think it explains why the people made the agreement that they did. Although the recommendation is substantially greater than the agreement, we're asking the court to follow the agreement. It's an acknowledgement by Mr. Damon. First of all, these events happened almost 3 years ago. So in many respects, he's a different person than he was then. But I think he's demonstrated his acceptance of the seriousness of this matter and his intent to do different in the future by, first of all, cooperating, and second of all, since he's been out on bond, not engage in any other criminal behavior. So we're asking the court to follow the agreement that was made between the people and Mr. Damon.
Mr. Damon, is there anything that you would like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence?
Yes, sir. First, I want to apologize to the court and the community for the events that occurred. I also want to apologize to my family because you guys raised me to be a better man. I also want to apologize to the victims and their families. I know no matter how many times I apologize, it will not change what you guys have to go through in life. And for that, I am truly sorry. And I never intended for any of you guys to get hurt. But being incarcerated made me more of a man, and it brought me closer to God. And having to miss my oldest daughter grow up and my youngest daughter be born helped me realize that there's way more in life than what I was seeing.
Right,
And that'll
thank
be
you,
it, Your
Honor. Ms. Wise, do people who wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, I do have Kaylee Sweet and Madison Wicks here that would like to make a statement.
All right. Okay, if you could just again state your full name for the record, and then you can say whatever it is you'd like to say.
Kaylee Sweet. I think it's clear we're all here today because of the shooting that happened August 11th, 2020 at 207 South Mackenzie Street. Saying those words still doesn't feel real. I never thought I would have to say I was shot in a drive-by, but thanks to you, I do. Thanks to you, it's something I'm reminded of and live with every single day. The fear of windows, loud noises, the dark, having panic attacks and having to leave public places because your family members are there, and all the drama and threats they made after your initial arrest. Because no way you do a crime like this, right? Or no way you do a crime like this, or is it just your first time getting caught for a crime like this? The trauma you have caused because of your actions is indescribable. But I want to take time back to a few weeks prior to August 11th, so the court can get an idea of who you were to us before you made your actions of August 11th. Up until the shooting, the defendant is someone I would have described as a friend. He was at the 207 South Mackenzie house very often, and by often, I mean multiple times a week prior to the shooting, where we provided him with showers, food, and a place to sleep. We even bought his daughter a car seat as he was driving around with a young child in no car seat. One night in particular, I remember, is the defendant sitting in the backyard of the 207 South Mackenzie house with us at a bonfire, where he started tearing up, telling us he wanted to change his life around, be a better person for his daughter, and be able to live a better life. As we see, you did the exact opposite of change your life around. Instead, showed us you have absolutely no respect for human life, no respect for those around you, and absolutely did not care how many deaths you could have caused on August 11th. We have to be thankful someone of higher power was on our side that night. Because in case no one has ever taught you, when you shoot into a house full of people, you don't pick where the bullets go. You don't pick what they bounce off of and who and where they hit. With 27 bullets into a house, you could have easily killed every single one of us that night. You should be lucky. If lucky is even the word to describe it, you aren't at a murder sentencing right now. People you called your friends, your daughter's uncles, and guys you grew up with were in the house that night, and you still decided to shoot. I know the shooting wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. As soon as we heard the gunshots and everyone in the house fell to the floor, at that point, not knowing I was shot, my first thought was, Rico's here. For those who don't know, Rico is what we called the defendant. It wasn't what is going on, what is happening. I clearly remember laying on the ground saying, Rico's here. All the other guys wouldn't have been there that night if it wasn't for you. You are absolutely the ringleader of the events that happened that night, and while they have all sat in jail waiting for their sentencing, you've been able to live outside of the jail walls. It will never be fair that the one who orchestrated the plan is the one with the least amount of charges against him. But I've learned something, that nothing about this situation will ever be fair. We did nothing to deserve your actions that night, yet I still had to jump to the floor, crawl through the house, jump out a window, and run for blocks, all while being shot because of your selfishness. I had to call my parents at 1 a.m. and tell them I was shot. That's something as a father, I hope you never have to experience. These are things your actions have caused, but you'll never understand the feeling and trauma you put behind them. 2 days later, you were trying to text a girl that was in the house the night that it happened. That's disgusting. Going to Florida like it was time for family vacation while we laid in a hospital bed, terrified to even leave the hospital, to go to our own homes because of you. If you have the ability to act like our friend one day and can shoot at us the next without a care in the world, what else are you capable of? That's scary. There will never be enough words to describe the night of August 11th. The flashbacks I still get of August 11th, or how it will affect me for the rest of my life. Your actions have altered the life I live forever. But to have peace with this, they say I must have forgiveness. Not because what you did will ever be okay, or because you deserve it, because someday, some way, you will be held accountable for what you did, but that isn't for me to decide. But forgiveness because I deserve to live fully again, without holding on to so much of what happened to me because of your selfish actions. Your actions are a direct reflection of who you are as a person, and not a reflection of who I am or who I will become. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Madison Wicks. I thought about how to start this letter for a long time, and I'm still not sure I'm even doing it justice, because how do you address the person you once considered a friend, but is now just known as the person who shot you? I want everyone to know who Tyreek Damon was to me prior to the August 11th shooting. He was someone who was in my home, someone that I provided a place to sleep, eat, shower, and I also provided a place for him to spend time with the girl that he was seeing, who was also my friend. I even helped with the purchase of a car seat for his daughter. I remember one evening in July when it was really late and most of my friends had gone to bed, and the two of us had sat at my kitchen table, and he had cried to me about the mistakes that he had made in his life and the relationship that he had with the people he cared about. He told me he wanted to better for himself and for his daughter. He also said the same thing at a bonfire we had. What a shame. Your actions that evening not only changed my life, but the lives of my friends and my family. Did you know that August 11th is my sister's birthday? Did you know that my mom got a phone call in the middle of the night that I had been shot through the chest? Did you know my sister still remembers the screams from my parents that night when they got the news? Did you know that I had to watch my blood spread across the front of my shirt, and my parents had to watch my life flight fly across the sky? Did you also know that my nurses that night could not tell me anything about my condition because they could not promise me that I was going to survive? You didn't know these things because you didn't care about the consequences. The doctors told me it was a 1 in a million chance I was alive. A millimeter in any other direction and the bullet would have ricocheted and I would have been dead. A millimeter any other way and you would have been a murderer. You took my freedom, my feeling of safety, my independence, and drastically changed the path my future was on the minute you decided you were going to pull the trigger. My mother can't watch me go anywhere without worrying and she'll get another dreaded phone call. I can't go in public without a panic that will always be in the back of my mind. My mom had to scrub my blood off the cupboards of that house. I have to look in the mirror every single day at the scars from where the bullet entered and exited my body and be reminded of what you did. That's on you. You decided that whatever made you so angry that evening was worth all of this turmoil that you've put so many people through. This wasn't an accident. You knew what you were doing and you knew whose house that was. You just didn't care. It says something that evening that this all occurred, that it wasn't even a question of who shot into the house. We just knew. How sad is that? People say that you need to forgive to move on, but my question is, who are you to deserve my forgiveness? Nobody. I don't owe you anything, and I will never forgive you or say that this was okay, because it's not and it never will be. Nothing will ever justify the actions of you and your friends that night, and nothing will justify you shooting into a house full of people, and nothing will justify you trying to kill us all. The only thing that I can do, and it's for myself, is to have acceptance of the situation and to find peace.
Ms. Wise, do you have anything else?
Just briefly, Your Honor, this was a very troubling case for me. As the court knows, there were 5 defendants involved. Tyreek Damon was the first one that was to be arrested, and without his cooperation, we would not have gotten the other individuals involved in this matter. I've met with Ms. Wiggs and Ms. Sweet numerous times to discuss this case, and although they don't necessarily like the sentencing agreement that I offered, they also understand it and understand where it comes from. And based on those things, that's why Mr. Goldstein and I talked, and I agreed to a sentence agreement. And I know it's a tough case for this court. I know this could have been a very different situation, and we could be here on a murder sentencing. Those girls are 100% correct. But based on the facts that we have, I would ask the court to follow the sentence agreement.
Thank you. In determining the appropriate sentence in the case, the courts considered the seriousness of these offenses, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory, the cost of probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, terms against repetition by you and by others, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. I think I share the thoughts of, I think Mr. Goldstein said it, Ms. Wise said it, Ms. Sweet and Ms. Wicks both said it, the difficult situation that this presents with respect to the sentencing. I've stated, I think, clearly on the record in cases of the other defendants in this situation, what my thoughts were about this shooting that occurred. And I do see Mr. Damon as the leader in this situation, or the person whose actions more than anyone else's caused this to happen. But for Mr. Damon's actions that night, this shooting probably doesn't happen, in my estimation. And that is a difficult thing for me to weigh against the fact that he did come forward, and there obviously was value in his cooperation in bringing the other participants in this shooting to justice. And so it is difficult. It is difficult to weigh that. As I said, when the other defendants were sentenced, this shooting to me was unconscionable and showed a shocking lack of respect for human life, particularly the lives of people that Mr. Damon called friends, people that he spent time with, people who, as I've heard here today, were very kind to him. And because he's upset with someone who is in their house, grabs a bunch of people and fires 27 bullets into that house that could have killed any one of those people. It's hard to understand how a person could do that. And it's encouraging to hear that Mr. Damon has conducted himself in a way as to not commit other crimes while this case has been pending. It's probably likely that the fact that this is pending has helped in that regard. Ultimately, I say all of that to say that the agreement, as I think Ms. Wise indicated, is a difficult pill to swallow, but in some sense, a necessary pill to swallow, so that all of the people who were accountable for this shooting could be brought to justice. And so I am going to comply with the terms of the agreement, with the caveat, Mr. Damon, that you understand that a probation sentence in this case with me is one chance, and this is it. So if you find yourself here again having violated the terms of your probation, I'm not going to listen to "I need a second chance." It's not going to happen, most likely. Most likely, what I'm going to do is impose a sentence similar to what others in this case received. So it will be the sense of the court that you serve a period of probation for 3 years. With 359 days to be served in Lenawee County Jail. You have credit for 359 days served. Your probation is subject to the following conditions. You must not use or possess alcoholic beverages or other intoxicants. You must not enter bars or other places where the primary purpose is to serve alcoholic beverages for drinking on site. Unless the field agent has first given you written permission for your employment at a specific location. You must comply with the requirements of drug and alcohol testing as directed by your field agent. You must not attempt to submit any fraudulent or adulterated samples for testing. You must not hinder, obstruct, tamper, or otherwise interfere with the testing procedures, and you must present proper identification at the time of testing. You must not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia unless prescribed to you by your licensed physician, or be with anyone that you know to possess those items. You must use prescription drugs only as prescribed to you by a licensed physician. You must complete a substance abuse assessment when you're referred by the field agent. You must participate in an adult education or GED program as directed by the field agent. You must complete a psychological evaluation when you're referred by the field agent. You must obey all court orders. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact without permission of the field agent and with anyone that you know to have a felony record. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with anyone you know to be engaged in any behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You must not change your residence unless you first obtain written permission from your field agent. You must not use any object as a weapon. You must not own, use, or have under your control or area of control any type or imitation of a weapon. You must not be in the company of anyone that you know to possess those items. You must contact your field agent no later than the first business day following your placement on probation. You must comply with all written or verbal orders made by your field agent. You must allow your field agent into your residence at any time for probation supervision. You must submit to a search of your person and property, including but not limited to your vehicle, residence, and computer without need of a warrant. The field agent has reasonable cause to believe that you have any items which violate the conditions of your probation. You must report any arrest, police contact, loss of employment, or change of residence to your field agent within 24 hours, weekends and holidays accepted. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment with a minimum of 30 hours per week unless you're engaged in an alternative program that's approved by the field agent. You must provide ongoing verification of employment or alternative program to the field agent. You shall not give reason to be terminated or voluntarily terminate your employment or alternative program unless you first obtain written permission from your field agent. You must pay $68 state costs, $130 crime victims' rights fee, $30 per month supervision fee that would be increased to $60 per month if electronic monitoring is required, and $750 court costs. Should say, which I didn't, that I do recognize that that sentence is a departure from the guidelines. It is a downward departure. I think that that is legally reasonable under the circumstances, given plea agreement that was reached in this case. Obviously was not considered by the guidelines. Mr. Damon, we are going to mail to you three copies of a notice of right to appellate review and request for appointment of attorney form. When you get those forms, you need to sign one copy, which indicates that you have received your copies of those forms and mail them and return that to the court. With respect to the other copies, if you want to appeal your sentence, you need to fill out the other copies, mail those to the address listed in the form within 42 days.
Your Honor, we completed a PSI on him on docket 20-20093FH. The conviction was for assault with intent to create bodily harm less than murder or by strangulation.
So
I wasn't sure the status on that case.
So that plea was withdrawn. And
Correct.
it's my understanding that that file is being nolly-prossed.
That's correct, Your Honor, and I'll get those to the court today.
Okay. All right. Anything else we need to address in this case then this morning?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank
I
you.
don't believe so, Your Honor, no.
Mr. Damon, you can report Tuesday at 10 a.m. Tuesday, 10 a.m.
You just muted. Okay, thank you. I don't know if I was unmuted.
Great, thank you.
Tuesday.
Call the jail and ask for Mr. Glazer, you're here for Ms. Aguirre.
Yeah, Aguirre and Hezekiah Hall.
Mr. Dagger Margosian, you're here for Mr. Skinner.
And we need Nancy.
Yes, Your Honor.
White.
Okay. Are you Mr. Skinner? Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Dagger
Thank you
Margosian, do
so
you need
much.
a breakout session with Mr. Skinner?
Yeah, I'd like to. I tried to contact Mr. Skinner. I wasn't able to get him, but yeah, if we can set him up with that Zoom.
Okay. Mr. Skinner, if you'll step to the hallway, there's an iPad on a stand out there. You should be able to just tap one button to join the meeting. All right, Ms. Ford, give me just one moment and we will proceed with your hearing. Sir Fleming, could I impose upon you to step into the hallway and help him get the iPad audio connected?
Of course, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Skinner, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
Thank you, Mr. Funk.
No problem.
Mr. Glazer, do you need a breakout session with Ms. Aguirre?
Just for a moment, Your Honor.
All right, if there is someone in the Lenawee County Jail Room 2, I need you to unmute the device and turn the camera on, please. Okay, we are on the record now in People of the State of Michigan versus Stephanie Ann Ford, file 21-20242-FH. They state sentencing in this case. We are proceeding today by partially by video conference and partially in person. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Wise.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise on behalf of the people.
David I. Goldstein appearing on behalf of the defendant.
And Miss, you are Stephanie Ann Ford.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Ford, have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
I talked with my lawyer about it.
All right, you've had an opportunity to discuss the report with Mr. Goldstein. Have you had an opportunity to discuss the report with Mr. Goldstein?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Goldstein and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, I had a couple of questions, but I'm not sure how to go about that.
All right, let me place you in a breakout session with Mr. Goldstein. You can ask him those questions. Okay, we have Mr. Goldstein and Ms. Ford back from the breakout session. Mr. Goldstein, is there anything we need to address? You were muted if you said anything, Mr. Goldstein.
Sorry, Your Honor. No, there's some issues I have to discuss with Ms. Weiss later, but nothing that would prevent us from proceeding today.
All right. Ms. Ford, do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Goldstein, does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
No, Your Honor.
The probation officers computed the minimum sentencing guidelines to be from 0 to 6 months in this case. Do you agree with that computation guidelines?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before the court passes sentence, is there anything, Mr. Goldstein, you'd like to say on behalf of Ms. Ford?
I'll make this brief, Your Honor. The probation report, the PSI, goes into a lot of detail about the shootings, which was the subject of the sentencing of Mr. Damon that just took place a few minutes ago. However, Ms. Ford was not involved in that. And I'm not sure exactly why Ms. Walsh put as much detail as she did. What Ms. Ford did was significantly after that. And I'm not trying to excuse or justify her behavior. It was, however, in the context of what was going on, very, very minimal. She has one prior contact with the criminal justice system. It was a misdemeanor. Trying to refresh my memory as to what that was. And since that time, except for this matter, she's had no issues. This case is now, it was a marijuana case, Your Honor. It's now been 2.5, almost 3 years since the behavior in this case. I believe August 11th is what's being called the offense date. And she has done nothing but lead an exemplary life since that time. She is gainfully employed. She has a child that she's raising. And I think the recommendation for strictly 1 year of probation with virtually no other conditions is appropriate.
All right, Ms. Ford, is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wise, people wish to hear this.
Just, Your Honor, you know the facts of this case pretty well, and I'm sure you've read the PSI, so I would leave it in your discretion at that sentencing.
All right, in determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the courts consider the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence of the nature and gravity of the offense, discipline appropriate to its commission, terms against repetition by you and by others, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. I do acknowledge there's an agreement in this case for no upfront jail. The guidelines were 0 to 6 months, which would generally call for a probation sentence. Do you think, under the circumstances, that the recommendation is appropriate, and so it will follow it? It is the sentence of the court that you serve a period of probation for 1 year, subject to the following conditions. You must not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia unless prescribed to you by a licensed physician, or be with anyone that you know to possess those items. You must use prescription drugs only as prescribed to you by your licensed physician. You must complete outpatient or residential substance abuse treatment when you're referred by the field agent. You must complete a substance abuse assessment when you're referred by the field agent. You must obey all court orders. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact without permission of the field agent with anyone that you know to have a felony record. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with anyone that you know to be engaged in any behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You must not change your residence unless you first obtain written permission from your field agent. You must not use any object as a weapon. You must not use, own, or have under your control or area of control any type or imitation of a weapon. You must not be in the company of anyone that you know to possess those items. You must contact the supervising field agent no later than the first business day following your placement on probation. You must comply with all written or verbal orders made by the field agent. You must allow the field agent into your residence at any time for probation supervision. You must submit to a search of your person and property, including but not limited to your vehicle, residence, and computer, without need of a warrant. If the field agent has reasonable cause to believe that you have items which violate the terms of your probation. You must report any arrest or police contact, loss of employment, or change of residence to your field agent within 24 hours, weekends, and holidays accepted. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with anyone you know to be a member of a gang, and you must not be involved in any gang-related activities. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment of a minimum of 30 hours per week unless you engage in an alternative program that's approved by your field agent. You must provide ongoing verification of employment or alternative program to the field agent. You shall not give reason to be terminated or voluntarily terminate your employment or alternative program unless the field agent has first given you written permission. You must comply with DNA testing and pay a $60 fee. You must pay a $68 state cost, $130 crime victims' rights fee, $30 per month supervision fee, which would be increased to $60 per month if electronic monitoring is required, and $750 court costs. You do have the ability to request an appeal of your sentence. We will send to you 3 copies of a notice of right to appellate review and request for appointment of attorney form. You need to sign 1 copy of that form and return it to the court. That just indicates you received your copies of those forms. If you want to appeal your sentence, you need to fill out the other copies of the form and mail those to the address listed in the form within 42 days. Do you understand that, Ms. Ford?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Walsh, anything you need to tell Ms. Ford at this point?
Ford, I need you to come see me Tuesday morning at 11.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
It'll be okay.
All right, if there's nothing else on this matter, then Ms. Ford, you can go ahead and log out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Dagger Margosian, you ready to proceed with Mr. Skinner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record in the People of the State of Michigan. Excuse me, People of the State of Michigan versus Patrick Lee Skinner, file 21-20472-FH. Today is the date set for sentencing. In this case, we are proceeding today by partially by video conference and partially in person. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Fleming.
Good morning, Your Honor. Chris Fleming, appearing on behalf of the people.
Your Honor, Michael Dagger Margosian for Mr. Skinner.
And sir, you are Patrick Lee Skinner.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Skinner, have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
Yes, sir.
You had an opportunity to discuss that report with Mr. Dagger Margosian.
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Dagger Margosian in the advice that he has given you?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report?
No, sir.
Mr. Dagger Margosian, does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
None to my knowledge at this time, Your Honor.
The probation officers computed the minimum sentencing guidelines to be from 2 to 17 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
I don't have any challenges at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Fleming, do people agree with the computation of guidelines?
I have no challenges.
Okay. Before the court passes sentence, then, Mr. Dagger Margosian, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Skinner?
Your Honor, in reviewing the PSI and just getting to know Mr. Skinner over the course of this case, I think the recommendation is appropriate. This case is fairly old. We were obviously scheduled for trial. We were ready to litigate this case, but we did reach a resolution with the people. Obviously, Mr. Skinner is ready to move forward and put this behind him. He's working, he's getting stabilized, he's getting housing, contact information, that sort of thing. So he's on the path for rehabilitation. He's doing well. And again, he served a significant amount of time in this case. as indicated in the PSI, over 300 days of jail here. So I certainly think that that would be appropriate for the sentence, and with the length, with the age of this case, I think the recommendation of nothing further certainly makes sense. I would ask the court to follow that.
Mr. Skinner, is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence?
I just like the opportunity to move forward. You know, this will be the first time in my life I haven't had a judge, a prosecutor, a lawyer, or some kind of correction officer tell me what to do in my life. So I'd like to just keep moving forward.
All right. Mr. Fleming, do the people wish to be heard?
We do, Judge. Ms. Murday is here to make a statement.
All right, Mr. Skinner, I'll ask you to sit down at the table here. All right, Ms. Murray, if you would just state your full name for the record, and then you can go ahead and say whatever it is you'd like to say.
Lakeisha Wood Murday. The only reason that this was dragged out so long was because he ran. So I don't think that the 300, days was enough. I was scared for years. I have 4 kids. I had one that was there and I was pregnant for him. I had to live with this every day. I've still worked every day, take care of all my kids every day. And I don't think that moving past this is gonna help anybody else but himself. And that's not what this is about. I was stalked, I was harassed, my family still gets contacted. And I've not moved, so I've been stuck in Adrian, so I mean, it's not hard to locate. Everything that I thought I was gonna say is, I'm scared. I want nothing to do with him. I think there should be more justice than what that guy is trying to say. And that's all I got right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fleming, people have anything further?
Just briefly here, Judge. I know he has credit for 302 days of jail at this point. I know what the recommendation is. According to the PSI and the Compass indicator, it indicated actually that you'd benefit from counseling. And I know that 302 days is in line with the sentencing guidelines there. People would request that defendants be placed on probation for a period, Your Honor, to not only get counseling, but to keep the defendant monitored. I believe that is appropriate in this matter.
In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, courts consider the seriousness of the offense, their history, principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence of the nature and gravity of the offense, discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, application of law and the protection of society. Mr. Skinner's a 35-year-old man with 6 prior felonies and 3 prior misdemeanors. At least some of those, a couple of those at least, are assaultive in nature, and there also appears to be substance abuse issue with Mr. Skinner. Cover page indicates he denies substance abuse history. He did plead guilty in another case in Georgia to possession of methamphetamines. as well as possession and use of drug-related objects. I think I share the concerns of the prosecution here that the term of monitoring is probably more appropriate in this case than simply leaving it with the jail sentence. So it's going to be the sentence of the court that Mr. Skinner served a period of probation for 2 years.
Judge, will I be able to transfer that? Because I'm not really living here in Michigan.
You have to discuss that with your probation officer. Your probation is subject to the following conditions. You must not use or possess alcoholic beverages or other intoxicants. You must not enter bars or other places where the primary purpose is to serve alcoholic beverages for drinking on site. Field agent is first given you written permission for your employment at a specific location. You must comply with the requirements of drug and alcohol testing as directed by your field agent. You must not hinder, obstruct, tamper, or otherwise interfere with the testing procedures, and you must present proper identification at the time of testing. Not use or possess any controlled substance or drug paraphernalia unless prescribed to you by a licensed physician or be with anyone that you know to possess those items. You must use prescription drugs only as prescribed by your licensed physician. You must complete outpatient or residential substance abuse treatment when you're referred by the field agent. You must complete domestic violence or battery intervention treatment when you're referred by the field agent. You must complete substance abuse and domestic violence assessment when you're referred by the field agent. You must participate in an adult education or GED program as directed by the field agent. You must complete a psychological evaluation when you're referred by the field agent. You must bail court orders. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact without permission of the field agent with anyone that you know to have a felony record. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with anyone that you know to be engaged in any behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You must not change your residence unless you first obtain written permission from your field. You must not use any object as a weapon. You must not use, own, or have under your control or area of control any type or imitation of a weapon. You must not be in the company of anyone that you know to possess those items. You must comply with all written or verbal orders made by your field agent. You must allow your field agent into your residence at any time for probation supervision. You must submit to a search of your person and property, including but not limited to your vehicle, residence, and computer without need of a warrant if the field agent has reasonable cause to believe you have items which violate the terms of your probation. You must report any arrest or police contact, loss of employment, or change of residence to your field agent within 24 hours, weekends, and holidays accepted. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment of a minimum of 30 hours per week and must engage in an alternative program approved by your field agent. You must provide ongoing verification of employment or alternative program to the field agent. You should not give reason to be terminated or voluntarily terminate your employment or alternative program unless you first obtain written permission from your field agent. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with Nikisha Murde or be within 500 feet of her residence, school, or place of employment. You do have the ability to request an appeal of your sentence, Mr. Skinner. The bailiff is going to hand to you 3 copies of the notice of right to appellate review and request for appointment of attorney form. You need to sign one of those that just indicates you received your copies of those forms. If you want to appeal your sentence, you need to fill out the other 2 copies of the form and mail those to the address listed in the form within 42 days.
Can I ask a question real fast?
Yes.
The Keisha stated in the police report and everything also, so was now is that I have a 7-year-old son with her that I've not had no contact, not even heard the sound of his voice. How do I go about setting all that up? Because she said it's too long for, there's anything, it's been too long since I've seen or met my son.
All right, that's not an issue I can give you advice on. You would need, I don't know if Mr. Margosian can give you some direction in that regard, but you would need to.
I mean, I'm not allowed to have no kind of contact. That's what I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? I've got another 4-year-old daughter I gotta go look for too. This stuff makes it really hard to do the right thing, man. What's the 23rd? I'm not saying I'm gonna do the wrong thing, Judge. I'm not. That's not me. That right there is crocodile too.
Mr. Skinner.
I'm sorry, man.
You need to report here Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning.
Tuesday at courthouse?
Across the hall. 10:30.
Okay. So I didn't bring anything.
All right, the record should reflect that you have a copy of the notice appellate rights form signed by Mr. Skinner, and place that in the file.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All set. All right, Mr. Glazer, are you ready to proceed with Ms. Aguirre?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we are on the record in People of the State of Michigan versus Nancy Aguirre. It's file 23-21277-FH. Today is the date set for sentencing. In this case, we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask Mr. Glazer to place his appearance on the record.
John Glazer on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
And Miss, you are Nancy Aguirre.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Aguirre, have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
Yes. Oh,
Your Honor, she did not get her PSI sent to her, but her and I discussed it and I read to her relevant sections, and I think she's comfortable going forward without having seen the full PSI. Is that correct, Ms. Aguirre?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so just so you're aware, Ms. Aguirre, you do have a right to have a copy of that report at least 2 days before this hearing. And I would only proceed today if you're willing to waive that right, as Mr. Glazer indicated that you are. But I just want to make sure, are you willing to waive that right and continue?
Sure, for now.
All right. So you've had an opportunity to discuss the report with Mr. Glazer.
Yes,
Are you satisfied with Mr. Glazer and the advice he's given you?
I am.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any of the information that's in the report?
We don't, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazer, does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and I just indicate it does not disclose any prior convictions. So the probation officer has calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines to be from 0 to 6 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Before the court passes sentence, Mr. Glazer, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Ms. Aguirre?
Your Honor, just that her past history shows that she has a drug problem, and it's a pretty serious drug problem. I know she's been in jail and that she's sobered up some, and she's been off the drugs, obviously, but she needs to take this serious, and I've tried to emphasize that with her, and do whatever education she can get, any community mental health she can get. I've explained to her sometimes these problems in taking drugs are you're reacting to a mental health issue, depression or severe depression, and she should check it out because they can treat the depression and it may help her with the with her drugs. I hope she is able to do this, Your Honor. She's I've explained to her that the way the drugs are today, it's very easy to die overdose on these things, and she needs to be very careful. And I think she understands that, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Mr. Glazer. Ms. Aguirre, is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence?
No, I don't believe so. I think you pretty much summed up.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to understand what you said.
I don't think so. I think I'm okay.
Okay. In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the courts considered the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, vindication for the law and the protection of society. I think, share the thoughts that Mr. Glazer expressed with respect to the importance of you getting some treatment, and I really hope that you will, and that it will be helpful to you. I think Mr. Glazer is right that the current situation with respect to drugs that people buy on the street is that people are selling things that aren't what they say they are, and much more lethal than what they say they are. And particularly with the opiates, but really with everything else, they're putting things in those drugs that could easily kill you if they have made even the slightest error about how that's been mixed. So all of that's to say, I really do hope you're able to get the treatment you need and move forward and pass this in your life. So it will be the sense of the court that you be served period of probation for 1 year under 7411, that you must not use or possess any alcoholic beverages or other intoxicants. You must comply with the requirements of drug and alcohol testing as directed by the field agent. You must not attempt to submit any fraudulent or adulterated samples for testing. You must not hinder, obstruct, tamper, or otherwise interfere with the testing procedures. You must present proper identification at the time of testing. You must not use, possess, or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia unless prescribed to you by a licensed physician. You must use prescription drugs only as prescribed to you by a licensed physician. You must complete outpatient residential substance abuse treatment when you're referred by the field agent. You must complete a substance abuse assessment when you're referred by the field agent. You must participate in an adult education or GED program as directed by the field agent. You must complete a psychological evaluation when you are directed by the field agent. You must obey all court orders. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact without permission of the field agent with anyone that you know to have a felony record. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with anyone that you know to be engaged in any behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You must not change residence unless you first obtain written permission from your field agent. You must not use any object as a weapon. You must not use, own, or have under your control or area of control any type or imitation of a weapon. You must not be in the company of anyone that you know to possess those items. You must contact the supervising field agent no later than the first business day following your release from jail. You must comply with any written or verbal orders as made by the field agent. You must allow the field agent into your residence at any time for probation supervision. You must submit to a search of your person and property, including but not limited to your vehicle, residence, and computer without need of a warrant. The field agent has reasonable cause to believe that you have items which violate the conditions of your probation. You must report any arrest or police contact, loss of employment, or change of residence to your field agent within 24 hours, weekends and holidays accepted. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment of a minimum of 30 hours per week unless you're engaged in an alternative program approved by your field agent. You must provide ongoing verification of employment or alternative program to the field agent. You shall not give reason to be terminated or voluntarily terminate your employment or alternative program unless you first obtain written permission from your field agent. You must pay $68 state costs, $130 crime victims' rights fee, $30 per month supervision fee, which would be increased to $60 per month if electronic monitoring was required. You must also pay a $750 court cost and $450 attorney fee.
Judge,
You do have, yes.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what happened. It was my mistake with the pre-sentence report. Could you refer to the guideline section of my report? That is my actual recommendation. I'm not sure what happened on the first page with the 1 year recommendation. Just something to consider. I think it's the second page of the narrative section towards the bottom.
All right, so I apologize. I had missed that portion of the pre-sentence investigation report.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what happened on the very front page.
Yeah. It's all right. I guess I would share the concern of Ms. Walsh as it's expressed in that paragraph with respect to the ability to successfully complete a probation term, given the issues that Ms. Aguirre faces, and having now had an opportunity to see that and give that some more consideration, I believe that Ms. Walsh's recommendation in that paragraph is probably more appropriate than the year of probation that I had just indicated. I don't. This is a special circumstance, and I don't want to create a situation where a person would, for reasons out of our control, not be able to comply and end up in a cycle of violations and so forth. So I do think that is probably more appropriate. So I'm going to change going to change that sentence to,
It would actually be 27 days, Judge. I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't know what happened there with the 70, but she did, excuse me, get 60 days for a contempt charge, so that I would consider that as well.
okay. Right, so in total, she has served 87 days, but only credit because it was a contempt charge for the 27 days. But I think that is adequate under the circumstances. So it will be the sense of the board that Ms. Aguirre served 27 days in the Lenawee County Jail, credit for 27 days served. So not doing the term of probation, but the costs and fees, I think they need to stay on. So those will stay in place, but the probation term will not. So it will be just the 27 days in the Lenawee County Jail with credit for the 27 days served. All right, Ms. Squire, you do have the ability to request an appeal of your sentence.
Your Honor, I have a question. Is she still going to get the 7411?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Guire, you do have the ability to appeal your sentence. If you, I'm going to send to you 3 copies of the notice of right to appellate review form. When you get that form, you need to sign one and give it back to us. That just means you received your copies of the forms. If you want to appeal your sentence, you need to fill out the other copies of those forms and mail those to the address listed in the forms within 42 days, okay?
Okay.
All right, you can let the officer that's with you know that you're done with court for today.
When will I get those copies? Sometime today?
Sometime today before you leave the jail, I believe.
Okay.
I think she's in till the 2nd or 3rd, did you say?
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, all right. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely before that.
Yeah, before that. Okay. And then just give it to the officers when I leave, or does it?
Correct. They'll just give it to you, have you sign it, and take it right back from you.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I apologize, Judge, for the mix-up.
No problem. Hezekiah.
Yeah. I believe so. Thank you.
It's Linda from Judge Olsevers, and we need Hezekiah Hall, please. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hello. We're getting him right now. Morning.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. Glazer, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Hall?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we're on the record in People of the State of Michigan versus Hezekiah William Hall, file 22-21070-FH, 22-21141-FH, 23-21292-FH, and 21-20472-FH. These are all set for sentencing this morning. Mr. Glazer, would you like to place your appearance on the record?
John Glazer on behalf of Mr. Hall.
And sir, you are Hezekiah William Hall.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hall, have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss that report with Mr. Glazer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Glazier and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazier, does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
No, Your Honor.
The probation officer has computed the minimum sentencing guidelines in this case to be from 0 to 17 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
Yes, I do.
Before the court passes sentence, Mr. Glazier, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Hall?
Your Honor, just that Mr. Hall knows he has a problem with substance abuse, and he's going to take care of that. And I think once he takes care of that, everything else will fall in place, and he won't be in any trouble. He's serious about this and wants the court to only follow all terms of probation.
All right, Mr. Hall, is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence?
Yeah, I just would like to apologize for everything I've done. I just recently seen how I went down slope when I started using my drug. When it's been hard. I want to get right, and I hopefully I can get into a rehab after, if I do my time here or wherever I do my time. I want to hurry up and get into a rehab, and I need help. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hall. In determining the appropriate sentence in these cases, the courts consider the seriousness of your offenses, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, report and recommendation of probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence of the nature and gravity of the offenses, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. Mr. Hall is a 21-year-old man with 3 prior felonies, 1 prior misdemeanor. At least at the time the report was done, had charges pending in Wayne County District Court. Familiar with Mr. Hall from previous probation that he was on in another case that was before this court. I do think that the recommendation is appropriate under these circumstances. Prior attempts of probation were not particularly successful, given that back here so quickly. So it will be the sense of the court that you serve a term of 6 months in Lenawee County Jail with credit for 38 days in docket number 22-21141-FH, 80 days in file 22-21070-FH, and 44 days in file 23-21292-FH. You must pay $390 crime victims' rights fee. That's $130 in each file. And $204 state costs, that's $68 in each file. Do have, I'm sorry, there's also a $450 attorney fee. That'll be in docket number 22-21141. And also the $750 court cost that's in the same file. one more $60 DNA fee that's in, again, the same file. So you do have the ability to request an appeal of your sentence, Mr. Hall. We're going to send to you at the jail 3 copies of the notice of right to appellate review and request for appointment of attorney form. When you get that form, actually, there's going to be a set of 3 copies of that form for each file. So you're going to get 9 pieces of paper altogether. You need to sign 1 copy of that form in each file and return that to the court, which indicates that you received your copies of those forms. If you want to appeal your sentence, you would need to fill out the other copies of those forms and mail those to the address listed in the forms within 42 days.
Okay,
All right, so you are all set. You can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today.
all right, can I get a breakout glacier one more time?
Yeah, 1 second.